This is Kia's flagship EV9. It is the biggest, most luxurious and most tech-laden Kia till date. Now, it has been launched in India as an import, and as a result, it's priced at rupees 1.3 crores. Question is, does it have what it takes to justify its asking price? Well, we have this car with us for an hour, so let's make the most of it. The EV9 is a plus-sized SUV, and its bold stance, upright bonnet and hulking dimensions definitely enhance its road presence. To put its size into perspective, it's larger than a BMW iX and Mercedes-Benz EQE, and it has a longer wheelbase too. I particularly love these LEDs, which appear to be neatly embedded in the bodywork. Other interesting design details include these bumper flaps that automatically open to cool the battery. The 20-inch wheels are definitely eye-catching as well, and it also features flush-type door handles which, along with the clean body lines, are designed to improve aerodynamics. In fact, the EV9 has a drag coefficient of 0.28, impressive for such a large SUV. The upward sloping window line and sleek LED tail lamps add flair to an otherwise clean and minimal body styling. What could have been better, however, is the paint finish. There's a noticeable orange peel effect. Stepping into the EV9's cabin evokes mixed emotions. The black and dark brown theme looks elegant, and the horizontally oriented dashboard along with the throne-like front seats exude luxury. I really love these front seats. Now, in addition to offering plenty of adjustments, these are ventilated, heated, and it also has a massaging function. Also, being a Kia, everything is really well thought out, ergonomics are spot on, and there are even physical buttons to control your fan speed and the temperature for the aircon. In addition, you have a small screen dedicated to the AC controls. Now the thing is that while driving, this screen is sort of hidden from your field of vision. Sure, it could have been executed a bit better. And you also get a row of shortcut keys for the touchscreen menus, but the thing is they're not very easy in terms of their operation. They require some serious effort to click and to operate. The infotainment screen itself is quick and responsive, and thankfully there's a handy volume scroller too. Another issue I have with this cabin is that when you are paying rupees 1.3 crore for this car, you expect a certain level of quality. Now don't get me wrong, it is all very nice in terms of touch and feel. However, you just cannot ignore the fact that you have a lot of hard plastics in this cabin. Like here, on the dashboard. So, well, yes, it is a premium experience. However, it is probably not in the same league as its German rivals. Even the 360 camera isn't as detailed as others in this segment, and the white 2D model shown on the screen isn't particularly attractive. In India, the EV9 is available only as a 6-seater, so you get a middle row with proper captain chairs. Now these chairs are extremely luxurious. They are placed a bit higher than the front seat, and unlike most EVs, you are not seated here in a knees up, rather uncomfortable position. In fact, these seats feel very luxurious, very comfortable. You get these electrically powered ottomans as well, and these seats offer heating, cooling as well as a massaging function. And let me tell you, it is not one of those ticklish massages, it is a proper high intensity massage. Space is excellent, and you can stretch out comfortably as long as the third row is unoccupied. Amenities include sunshades, a second sunroof for the middle row, POS mode for the front passenger seat, a huge door beneath the front center console, and in this variant, there's a large central console between the captain chairs that houses a fridge. Accessing the third row is easy as the captain seats slide and tilt forward at the push of a button. Now, as you can see, space in the third row is a bit tight, but with a bit of adjustment, even tall adults can sit here. However, this large center console will eat into the knee room, and as a result, you're seated in a slightly offset position. So, for tall adults, not a very comfortable place. If you plan to regularly seat adults in the third row, it might be better to skip the center console option. Lastly, with over 300 liters of boot space, even with all the 3 rows up, luggage space is quite respectable. Of course, you can expand the cargo space by folding the third row. The EV9 also includes a very usable front luggage compartment. Before jumping into the driving experience, here's a quick summary of the EV9's standard features. In India, the EV9 gets a 99.8 kWh battery paired with 2 motors, one for the front wheels and one for the rear. Together, they produce 384 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque. When you put your foot down, it does accelerate with a sense of urgency. However, you are not pinned to your seat. The delivery is very linear. We didn't get to try out the various drive modes or regenerative braking levels extensively. But at first impression, the regen feels natural and deceleration is smooth and predictable. Kia says that the EV9 can accelerate from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.3 seconds. Let's find out. That's 5.3 seconds according to our GPS-based testing. Not bad at all for a 7-seater EV weighing over 2.6 tons. Kia claims a range of 561 kilometers on a full charge, and thanks to its 800-volt electrical architecture, it supports ultra-fast charging. With a 350 kilowatt charger, that is if you can find one, the battery can be charged from 10 to 80% in just 24 minutes. The Kia EV9 uses steel springs rather than air suspension, but based on our first impression, the ride feels quite comfortable. However, since we only drove it briefly on Kia's test track, we can't give you a definitive verdict on its ride and handling. There's a certain heft and there's a certain maturity in the way this Kia EV9 drives, so it feels quite confident while cruising at 3-digit speeds. Also, the grip levels in the Kia EV9 are astonishing. Now, despite being such a tall and such a heavy car, having an all-wheel drive system does make it feel quite agile while taking those bends. But don't get carried away, it's still a big heavy SUV. While the brakes are progressive, you definitely feel the weight under hard braking. We began this video asking whether the Kia EV9 justifies its Rs 1.3 crore price tag. After spending an hour with it on the test track, here's what we think. The Kia EV9 is a brilliant, well-rounded EV. It offers everything and more that buyers in this segment are looking for. In addition to a third row of seats, it also offers an extremely luxurious experience for the middle row passengers with its captain seats. In fact, these seats are far more comfortable than a BMW iX or the Mercedes EQE available at a similar price point. But the thing is, beyond a certain price point, badge value and status take precedence over other factors. So, paying Rs 1.3 crore for a Kia will require serious commitment from your side. The question is, are you willing to look beyond its badge?